One of the most infamous and controversial moments of Road Warrior Hawk's career occurred during his time in WCW in the late 1980s. Hawk, known for his intense lifestyle both inside and outside the ring, was caught on camera allegedly using cocaine during a wrestling tour. The incident reportedly took place during a Japanese tour while the Road Warriors were working for All Japan Pro Wrestling. While details remain murky, the footage, which allegedly showed Hawk indulging in drugs, became a hot topic among industry insiders. Given the era's rampant drug culture, it wasn't entirely shocking, but having it captured on video made it impossible to ignore. WCW and the NWA at the time were desperately trying to maintain a level of professionalism in an industry that was already under scrutiny for steroid and drug abuse. The footage never surfaced publicly in any major way, but rumors ran wild, damaging Hawk's reputation among promoters who wanted to distance themselves from controversy. Despite this, his in-ring performances remained intense, and his popularity with fans never wavered. Hawk himself later admitted to struggles with substance abuse, which would continue to haunt him throughout his career. However, his talent and sheer presence were undeniable, allowing him to continue working at the highest levels of professional wrestling. The incident remains one of the more infamous stories in wrestling folklore, further cementing Hawk's legacy as one of the most rebellious and unpredictable figures in the business. So, let's rewind back to the beginning and explore the life of Road Warrior Hawk. In the wild and untamed world of professional wrestling, few names evoke sheer intimidation like Road Warrior Hawk. With his mohawked fury, face paint, and signature growl, he was one half of one of the most dominant tag teams in history, the Road Warriors. From smoke-filled bingo halls to sold-out arenas, Hawk and his partner Animal redefined what it meant to be a tag team. But behind the war paint and shoulder pads was a man who lived life as recklessly as he wrestled. This is the story of Road Warrior Hawk. Michael Hegstrand was born on January 26, 1957 in St. Paul, Minnesota, a city known for its bone-chilling winters and a seemingly endless supply of future professional wrestlers. Growing up, young Mike was a force of nature, big, strong, and constantly in trouble. He was the kid who would powerbomb his math homework and drop-kick detention slips into oblivion. Like many future wrestlers, he found solace in sports, particularly football and weightlifting. This was the 1970s, a time when being massive wasn't just encouraged, it was a way of life. After all, Arnold Schwarzenegger was winning Mr. Olympia, and the bigger you were, the cooler you seemed. So naturally, Mike started hitting the gym, sculpting his physique into something that looked less like a teenager and more like a human wrecking ball. Then came a fateful job at a local bar, the Rusty Nail, where he worked as a bouncer. It was there that he met a fellow muscle-bound tough guy, Joe Laurinaitis, better known to the wrestling world as Road Warrior Animal. The two instantly clicked, bonded by their love of lifting heavy things and scaring the living daylights out of unruly patrons. Little did they know, their lives were about to change forever. The 1980s were a magical time for professional wrestling. Hulkamania was running wild, and territories across the United States were churning out some of the biggest names in the business. Enter Eddie Sharkey, a wrestling trainer with a knack for turning barroom brawlers into superstars. He took one look at Hawk and Animal and saw dollar signs, or maybe just two guys who could suplex a truck if properly motivated. Under Sharkey's guidance, they trained in the art of professional wrestling, but let's be real, no one was expecting these guys to chain wrestle or perform intricate submissions. They were there to smash, bash, and cause destruction. And destruction they caused. Before Road Warrior Hawk became a global superstar in the WWF, he was already a force of nature in the territories and WCW, laying waste to opponents and establishing himself as one of the most feared brawlers in the business. Alongside his tag team partner Animal, Hawk revolutionized professional wrestling with an intense, smash-mouth style that captivated fans and terrified opponents. Let's take a deep dive into his journey before he landed on the biggest stage of them all. Hawk, along with Animal, entered the business as singles competitors, but their careers truly took off when they were paired together as a tag team in Georgia Championship Wrestling in 1983. Booker Ole Anderson saw two monstrous men with a no-nonsense, hard-hitting style and decided to mold them into a dominant duo known as the Road Warriors. He slapped on their now iconic face paint, outfitted them in spiked shoulder pads, and let them loose on an unsuspecting wrestling world. From the moment the Road Warriors debuted in GCW, it was clear that they were something special. Wrestling had seen big men before, but never a pair like Hawk and Animal. Their matches rarely lasted more than a few minutes, as they bulldozed through established teams like the Briscoe Brothers and the Fabulous Freebirds. Unlike traditional wrestling heels, they didn't need to cheat to win. Brute force was their weapon of choice. They became instant attractions, and the crowds quickly rallied behind them despite their brutal, villainous tactics. Their popularity was undeniable, and bookers realized they had something unique on their hands. By 1984, the Road Warriors captured the NWA's National Tag Team Championship, cementing their dominance in Georgia. Their reputation as unrelenting brawlers made them hot commodities across the territories, and it wasn't long before they started making appearances in other promotions. By late 1984, the Road Warriors had moved on to the American Wrestling Association, Vern Gagne's Midwest-based promotion. The AWA was known for its emphasis on technical wrestling, but Hawk and Animal were a different breed entirely. Their arrival changed the landscape of tag team wrestling. In August 1984, they defeated the Crusher and Baron von Raschke to win the AWA World Tag Team Championship. Their reign was dominant, so dominant, in fact, that many teams outright refused to work with them, fearing injuries or being completely squashed in one-sided matches. Despite their intimidating aura, they became beloved by the fans, making them one of the first cool heel teams in wrestling history. Hawk's in-ring persona was truly something to behold during this period. He had an unmatched intensity, a gravelly voice that added to his intimidating presence, and a penchant for no-selling big moves, making him seem invincible. His signature catchphrase, "Well," followed by a growl, became an integral part of their promos, as he and Animal cut high-energy interviews that stood out in a business dominated by traditional mic work. One of the most significant chapters of Hawk's pre-WWF career was the Road Warriors run in Japan, particularly in All Japan Pro Wrestling. By 1985, they were wrestling for Giant Baba's promotion and were treated like absolute megastars. Their hard-hitting, no-nonsense style fit perfectly in Japan, where physicality and strong-style wrestling were highly respected. Hawk and Animal feuded with legendary teams like Jumbo Tsuruta and Genichiro Tenryu and the Funks, Dory and Terry Funk. Their dominance overseas only added to their legend, as they drew massive crowds and were seen as near-mythical figures in the wrestling world. The Road Warriors became one of the first teams to gain worldwide recognition, proving that their appeal wasn't limited to just the US territories. By 1986, the Road Warriors had landed in Jim Crockett Promotions, the most prestigious NWA territory at the time. With JCP rapidly expanding, their arrival gave the company an added boost in credibility and star power. They fit perfectly into the NWA's landscape, which was known for its realism and hard-hitting matches. Their first major feud in JCP was with the Russians, Ivan Koloff and Nikita Koloff, which led to a series of brutal encounters, including violent six-man tag team matches with their occasional partner, the Russian Nightmare, Crusher Khrushchev. This feud helped further solidify them as top babyfaces. One of Hawk's most famous moments in JCP came in the first ever War Games match in 1987. The Road Warriors teamed with Dusty Rhodes, Nikita Koloff, and Paul Ellering to take on the Four Horsemen, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Lex Luger, and J.J. Dillon. During their time in JCP, the Road Warriors also had legendary rivalries with teams like the Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane, and the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. Their ability to work with smaller athletic teams added a new dynamic to their matches, showcasing Hawk's surprising agility despite his massive frame. One of the most controversial moments of Hawk's JCP run came at Starrcade 87, when the Road Warriors faced Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson for the NWA World Tag Team Championships in Chicago. The match was an absolute slugfest, and the hometown crowd was rabidly behind the Warriors. In what seemed like a major moment, Hawk and Animal won the match and the titles, only for the decision to be reversed due to an alleged rule violation. This infamous, dusty finish infuriated fans, and is still discussed today as one of the most frustrating booking decisions in JCP history. Despite being one of the most over acts in wrestling, Hawk and Animal never had a long-term run as NWA Tag Team Champions, largely due to backstage politics and creative decisions that left them dissatisfied. By 1990, their frustration with Jim Herd's leadership in WCW and an increasingly chaotic backstage environment led them to look elsewhere. So, in 1990, the Road Warriors left WCW and signed with the WWF, where they were rebranded as the Legion of Doom, LOD. Their WWF debut was highly anticipated, as they were one of the most dominant tag teams in wrestling history. LOD quickly feuded with Demolition, a team that was heavily inspired by them. The matches were physical, but Demolition's time in the WWF was winding down, leaving LOD as the undisputed top team. At SummerSlam 1991, Hawk and Animal defeated the Nasty Boys to win the WWF Tag Team Championships, making them the first team in history to win tag gold in the AWA, NWA, and WWF. Their reign was strong, but backstage issues and creative differences led to a decline in their booking. In 1992, Hawk left the WWF due to personal issues, including struggles with substance abuse. Animal remained, but was soon sidelined due to injury, effectively ending LOD's first WWF run. In 1997, LOD returned to the WWF, rebranded as LOD 2000 with Sonny as their manager. The nostalgia pop was huge, but the magic wasn't the same. One of the most controversial angles of Hawk's career took place during this run. WWF scripted a storyline where Hawk was portrayed as battling substance abuse, even staging a moment where he was drunk and fell off the Titantron. The angle was widely criticized for exploiting real-life struggles. Hawk left the WWF again in 1999, and LOD was essentially done in mainstream wrestling. Hawk and Animal made a one-off appearance in WWE in 2003, taking on Kane and Rob Van Dam in a losing effort. Tragically, just months later, Hawk passed away from a heart attack on October 19, 2003, ending the legacy of one of wrestling's most iconic figures. At the time of his death, his toxicology report stated that there was no illegal substances in his system, and it was known that he was totally clean at the time of his passing. Despite ups and downs, Hawk remains one of the most influential and beloved wrestlers of all time, with a career that left an undeniable mark on the industry. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Road Warrior Hawk's legendary career, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your favorite LOD moments in the comments below and hit that notification bell so you never miss an epic wrestling story. Stay tuned for more wrestling history, and as always, take care.